It's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. A misconception about democracy. I just want to do a quick video considering all this going on in Afghanistan, and this reminded me of something that a common discussion I've heard concerning why certain laws, like gun laws, for example, wouldn't work in the U.S. like they work in other, like they work in like in Australia or like working in the UK, and why those laws and in a similar fashion, why democracy wouldn't work in a place like Afghanistan. But you notice that when the Taliban, which has fewer numbers than the Afghan military, especially with all the training that was given to the military, they dropped their weapons and they ran, or they assimilated with the Taliban. Like I said, many of them were already members of it. And also, if you notice, a lot of people who were fleeing, many of the refugees were young men. And kind of makes you wonder why wouldn't young men stay behind and fight? Why wouldn't they try to defend this system that people think this is a good idea for them to have? Which is like a democracy, basically where people vote. They're voting their leaders or their representatives to make decisions on their behalf within the government. And it comes down to the same reason why like gun laws in Australia won't work in the U.S. Like gun laws in Canada won't work in the U.S. Gun laws in Mexico won't work in the U.S. Gun laws in Japan, Germany, so many different, South Africa, name your country, they won't work in the U.S. It comes down to the culture. Our culture is one that's we're not very trusting of our government. We're very rebellious. Many of us take great glee in trolling government officials. It's just a part of it's our national pastime. And you get and people. I think when people understand that when a particular culture has certain characteristics, why certain systems won't work in it, then you can understand why certain systems can't cross over from one nation to the other. So if the young men, if any of the men in that nation of Afghanistan can't, they see no value in fighting for. Fighting to have, I guess a freer government, a freer society, at least free in our sense. They see no value in it, then they're not going to fight for it. They're going to tuck tail and run. They're going to go on the side of the Taliban or the side of any other group that's basically going to take over. We saw the president. He took off with a bunch of money and basically left the people there to fend for themselves. And that could be why, dictatorships work so well in many societies. It's just their culture has a bend towards that type of government, with that type of society, with that type of structure in their society. So I just think that it was, and I agree that we shouldn't have been there, and I wanted us to leave as well. But I also recognize that if the Taliban were to take over once we finally left, then it would ultimately be up to the people there, not the military, because obviously the military has shown what they think, but ultimately it's up to the people there to figure out whether they were going to fight back against the Taliban. And the only ones who've seen, I've seen at least in articles showing that they were willing to stand up against the Taliban were the women there. So I'm guessing maybe the women have seen, they recognize they remember how they were treated over the past couple of decades, and they don't want to go back to that. So they're the ones I've only seen who were actually willing to pick up a rifle and fight back. But Afghani men, I haven't really seen much of that from them. I've seen many of them many young guys they wanted to leave. They don't have that fight in them, And I think it's a cultural thing. I don't know. I really don't know too much about the culture of of the Afghanis, but that's my estimation of the whole situation. But please tell me what you think. Do you think it's a cultural thing as to why many of the men have just dropped their weapons and ran? Why many of them are trying to flee from the Taliban, even though they have overwhelming, even though there are far more of them than there are the Taliban members. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Leave a like, share, subscribe. If you want to help out with the channel, you can go to my YouTube homepage, look for the Give Up That Cheese button, and take you to PayPal. You can donate any amount you would like. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I seek to address them. But that's my video. It's a misconception about democracy. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care, be safe, stay strapped, and God bless.